Okay, I'm gonna try this again. It's Mark coming to you from Baker's Green Acres. Today is the 4th of October. And as you can see, it's kind of a nice day. When I started this, it was sunny out, but now we're getting some clouds come over. But it's in the 60s. And for October, that's pretty warm. And so anyway, this is my grow field. And I posted a video yesterday that I made on the 25th. And I had just turned these pigs out here on the 24th, and I said I would get back to you in a period of time. So it's been like 10 days, and this is what it looks like now. So mostly, if you did a comparison, what you'd see is they've eaten the tops mostly. Like here is one of the radishes. You can really see what's out here now. I swear this is the way this grows. And they've just eaten the tops off of it, or a lot of the tops, but not, they haven't eaten everything. This is like, it's like the land of chocolate for Homer Simpson, because they're just surrounded by food. So they've mostly eaten the tops. That's the way it looks. Some of the bulbs have been taken out and eaten, but not as much as the tops eaten down. And as I said in that video, I'm really excited about this project because they are doing something that ensures my survival. All right, so let me explain that a little bit. First, a little background on me. I was a Boy Scout, and I read the book My Side of the Mountain several times, and it's still a book that gets read to the kids here all the time. As you know, we've got a lot of kids, so it gets read quite a bit. And it's always been something for me. And then one time in the Air Force, I wound up someplace where I did not bring what I was supposed to bring, and I was disobedient. I did not bring the meals that I was supposed to bring with me because I didn't want to carry them, and I thought there'll be something better there for me. And I wound up without food for a period of time, and I couldn't go and complain to anybody because I had disobeyed what I was supposed to do. So I wouldn't say that I know what it's like to starve, but I know what it's like to be really hungry, and I don't ever want to be there again. So these animals do something for me that I could not do on my own. These turnips here, I suppose anybody could get a 1 acre field and broadcast some turnips and they'd have turnips grow. And I suppose you could have turnip top salad for 2 months, until it gets cold. And if you had your refrigerator full of that turnip, I suppose you could do that for a while. But what these animals will do is they will eat this for probably, I think, okay, we put them in September, let's say October 1st. We're gonna go October, November, December. We'll see how far we get into January where they're still eating off this field, because they will dig down and they will get these tubers out. And there's so much tonnage on here, and there's 30 pigs. And then they're going to take this material, and they're going to turn that material into high quality meat and fat. Like the Mangalitsa has a back fat on it like this. These guys won't be that big in 3 months, but they'll be pretty good size. I mean, they're definitely in the size where if you needed to knock one of them off and eat it, you could. But in that fat, they accumulate these calories, and that fat can be rendered down, or it can be frozen, or it can be salted and hung, and it can be stored for a long period of time until you need it. So these pigs are kind of magical in a way, because they will eat this stuff. Here they are just chowing down, and I tell you what, they are fat. They're fat little things, and they're happy too. A lot of pigs won't eat this type of thing. If I put cows in here, they would make a mess of it and they'd eat for, several weeks, but then everything would just be a mess and then it would rot, stink and everything. Everything's still growing here. I had rain last night, so these tubers are still growing. And then the next field over, on my grow system, if you're new to this, this is a 300 by 100, and over here, this 100, I just planted that, and we got them closed out of it. And I did get germination. I got pretty decent germination. I don't know if you can see it, but I sure can. And with forage crops like this, like turnips and radishes and things like that, they'll grow when it's cold. They will actually grow under the snow. So they're a really good thing to be able to use. But still, the pig is the animal that's gonna digest that and turn it into a storable substance, their fat, that I can utilize when I need to. So from a preparedness point of view, homesteading point of view, I don't think you can go much better than the pig for a livestock animal. Let's put them up against chickens. Chickens won't eat this stuff. I mean, they'll go at it a little bit, but if they were out here, we would never get any eggs from them. They have to have chicken feed in order to get a consistent laying of eggs. Of course, if it was a situation where we couldn't get any chicken feed, I mean, we would do what we could, and I guess we'd get what we got. But these animals thrive on this, and it's very easy to do. So, in my opinion, as a survival animal, homestead survival livestock animal, you just can't go any better than the heritage pig. I raised a lot of like non-heritage types, and they wouldn't eat this stuff. They'd turn their nose up at it, and they'd be screaming at you every time you come out the door, and they want hog chow. These guys, I don't hear a peep out of them since I put them in. Notice there's no shelter in here for them. They don't need it at this point. And when it starts getting cold, I'm going to move a shelter half in. It's one of these steel pipes like that over there. I'll move that in, set it up on blocks so it can ventilate, and bust open some straw inside there, and that'll be good enough for them. But if I put it in here now, they wouldn't utilize it anyway. The thing that the pigs deal with this time of the year would be intense sunlight, and that's not happening in October. So they're able to just crash out here under the stars, and they're fine. And even last night it rained a little bit, but it doesn't faze pigs. Doesn't bother them any. And as far as water out here, I ran out a capillary line, just a 1/4 inch line, and I just let it go into a puddle, and they drink out of that, and I can move it whenever I feel like it. You don't have to put out any kind of trough or anything like that, because they'll just tip it over and play in it and stuff. We don't need that. They don't need much water when they're eating these tubers, because the tubers contain so much water. Okay, here's one right at my feet. This one, they dug it out, apparently, and then ate the sweet end of it off. And the rest of it is laying here. Now, in this cooler weather, this is like being in the crisper in your refrigerator. It's just going to lay here until they get ready to eat it. This cooler weather is great for this type of feed because it won't just rot out here. And I just don't I don't recall these radishes ever just turning to mush and rotting. I don't recall seeing that. If that happened, let's say they started to get a little stinky, the pigs would probably be drawn to them even more. If I put a piece of rotten meat out here and a piece of fresh meat right out of the refrigerator, they would go to the rotten meat first. It's just their survival instinct. So I guess what this comes down to is this pig, being a heritage pig, is closer to, let's say, the pigs that were on the like Noah's Ark. I mean, they would have been the ultimate survival animal. You know, they could make it anywhere. And these guys are closer to that. They can take the calories that are on this field and they can turn them into high quality meat and fat so they can survive. And if I have an animal that can survive, then it can help me survive. So that's why I'm excited about this, is because if I have to dump a ton of money into these animals, you know, I'm not really coming out ahead. I'm just, it's basically like golfing. You know, I'm putting a bunch of money in, it's just to spin my wheels. But these guys, I've got $6 worth of seed in this field and a permanent fencing structure. And these guys off of this are gonna produce meat and fat that I can feed to my family, and it'll help us to, you know, have good barbecues and survive, actually. So that's why I'm excited about this. It's pretty cool. I am supplement them a little bit. I have a junk bread contract, and I throw them some bread now and again. And then we do our chicken processing on Fridays. They get feet and heads for their protein supply, but there's quite a bit of protein in these turnips here, in these radishes. So anyway, anyone can farm. Mark from Baker's Green Acres.